Hello everyone, I am Krooked and I do stuff, and this is Unscripted, the series where I take a completely unscripted look at games and give it a 1 through 10 rating. And today, we are playing Baldur's Gate 3. If you're wondering, I didn't start with the title like I usually do. The reason why is because there's a lot in this game. So I also did something a little unique. I have a character that I literally know nothing about. I clicked reroll about 100 times and then clicked next. Did that with everything. So, let's talk about Baldur's Gate as I go through the sphincter here. This is the third game in a long-running series that came out originally in the 90s. But this one is a bit more modern turn-based style. And it's available on every platform you can imagine. If you've never played a turn-based game, the easiest way to describe this to you is this is Dungeons and Dragons, the video game. We may get a little scene here, I think we will, where we get to roll dice and everything. You'll see kind of what I mean. So we come across this body, and there's a brain in it. And as you can see, it's talking to us. Because talkie brain. Yeah. So it starts off and you're on the ship, and you basically want to get off this ship because mind flayers are bad. They're like the big bads of the D&D universe. So if you've watched Stranger Things, you know that as well. So, okay, we'll go ahead and select what option we want. You can skip everything after you've said it, so I don't need to listen to a chat, which is kind of nice. There's a roll here. I rolled a 12, which means I succeeded, so I get to find out some things here. Let's try to pry the brain out. I succeeded. Cool. So, alright, let's go. We'll just go. So right from the get-go, you know, you're thrown into this world that, if you don't know anything about D&D, you're probably going to be exploring a lot. Now, I do want to point out, this is playable with both controller and mouse and keyboard. I personally prefer mouse and keyboard, but the controller aspect and side of things looks really good too, and it's really easy to control. So as you're going through, you know, you're like, okay, I need to get to the helm. So it's kind of linear here in what you do. There's a dragon fighting and all this. And then your first companion shows up right here. Her name is Lae'zel. And, well, she's basically here to kill mind flayers. See? And it kind of tells you the story of what's happening. So, as you get through all this and all the storytelling, everyone kind of starts the game off the same, and it takes you through a very easy tutorial. It has you roll initiative, where your little brain thing can go off and attack, and this is how combat works in these games. Very much like D&D, there's an order to everything, and you go in the order that you roll the dice that you don't actually have to roll. And it's D&D. If you've struggled getting into Dungeons and Dragons, if you're not really sure if it's for you, this is a great entry point for that world. Even if you're someone who has problems like imagining everything going on around you, this can kind of introduce you to all of this. You can talk to your companions, you can do everything. In terms of graphics, this game is absolutely gorgeous. You will probably need a more up-to-date computer if you wanted to run it on computer. Otherwise, game consoles should run it without any sort of an issue. In terms of sound, there is so much goodness in this game. There's a character named Raphael that you run into, and he gets his own song at one point, which is absolutely stellar, and everyone should get to that point. For anyone who doesn't get that far, or just doesn't want to get towards that point, it has very good ambient music. It has, like, at no point in time have I sat here and went, oh man, this could sound better, because that sounds like acid hitting. Punches sound like punches. Sword swings sound like sword swings. And it sounds good. In terms of controls, there's so many different options. I could go save one of our other companions. Her name is Shadowheart. I'm not going to, because I'm just trying to get through to show you guys a bit more of this game, to kind of give you a taste of what there is. So I'm not doing anything extra. I'm just basically doing bare minimum, because every single experience that you have in Baldur's Gate is going to be a unique, fun experience. Even if you decide, I'm going to follow exactly what all these other people have done, do their exact character builds and everything else, there's a sense of randomness and things that are out of your control that you're not going to be able to replicate, no matter what. So we get to the helm, and it has another battle. There's a few other battles that you could do if you really, really wanted to. But if you notice on the side, it says that we only have 14 turns to do what we need to do here. So it gives you that sense of urgency where you're like, I need to get out of here, and I need to get out of here now. So what do? You try to get out of here. And then basically once you're out of here is when the real game actually starts. This is all tutorial, but you're going to be encountering tutorial messages probably throughout a good half of the game. Just because there will be new mechanics, new characters, new classes that you encounter. And it sounds like it could be really tough to deal with, but it's not. It's done in such a way where you can read as little as you want and still enjoy it, as long as you don't skip everything and go, I don't know what to do. You do have to pay attention at least a little bit. But it rewards you. For instance, there's a quest where I had saved a character, and then this was pretty early in the game. 20, 30 hours later, I end up going into a house, and sure enough, there's that character, and it's expanding on the quest that I had started so much earlier in my playthrough, giving life to the game. And the game is really, really good about that. There's also a bunch of characters that you get to meet that will affect the way you play. You can have different party members. For instance, Lae'zel here, she's known as a Gith, and she is kind of aggressive and abrasive, and you don't really want to interact with her a bunch. But the more you start talking to her, and the more you open up about her backstory and her history, and the more she opens up to you, you might change your opinion of her. And there's a lot of characters like that. One of the other ones that is very, very popular is Astarion. Or Astarion. And it's always weird because both characters in the game say it both ways. And he shows up and he has a whole backstory. And My favorite character, her name is Karlak. And she has a huge story where a lot of this game basically teaches you that first impressions of characters usually aren't the best impression of the character. There's characters that you'll see where you're like, oh man, they're probably just this huge meathead that doesn't have a single thought in their brain. On the flip side, there's characters when you go, oh, this is probably the smartest person in the game, and then you realize that's not the case for either. Oh, hey, look, there's Shadowheart. So we had a chance to save her. I skipped over it because, well, yeah, but, you know, it gives you another chance. And you see that there's aggression right away, doesn't trust anyone, and then goes, hey, wait a second, we have a common goal. We have a common thing that we need to do. You get choices and everything. It tells you journal. So, we now have her. So, I can't pick this lock, but there's different ways around it. This door doesn't have a health bar, so you can't break it down, but any door that has a health bar, you can break it down. You can pretty much loot anything that you see. You can do so much in this game, it's almost impossible to tell you everything in a short period of time. That being said, when you get enough experience, you get to level up. And in leveling up, oh, I'm a sorcerer, cool. I mean, I figured since I have some sort of spells, but you get to pick from different spells, choose what you want. You get to do passives, you get to replace spells, you get to do everything. And you get to do this for every character. The other side of this is it is fully multiplayer. The downside of multiplayer is if you play, say, 4 players, you can't interact with any of the companion characters. If you play 2 players, you get to interact with 2 of the companion characters. And the game does a really good job of balancing everything out. It's not something where if you're a D&D expert, you're going to immediately come in and you're not going to have a fun time. Because there is a lot of challenge with this game. You can be good at games, you can be good at D&D, and still have a rough time. But that's kind of the beauty of Baldur's Gate. Is you get a fresh experience no matter what your level of experience is. So, with all that being said, and I don't want to take up too much more of your time, we have to get to a score. Now, sometimes I'm a little heavier on games like this because I'm not sure if anyone who doesn't already play games like this would like it. Except this is a game that I think anyone and everyone could potentially like. Fichu, my wife, has never played a game like this and was really, really hesitant to try because it was something so new and so out of the realm of what she's used to. But she tried it out and she absolutely loves it. We play it every single day. So, with all that being said, with the fact I think this will bring people into the genre that have never done it, with how well it does everything in the genre itself, there's only one score that I can give Baldur's Gate 3, and that's a 10 out of 10. It is one of the best games I have ever played in my history of gaming. And it does absolutely everything in the best possible way. If you have a computer, try playing it. You get 2 hours free on Steam, basically. And if you like it, awesome. You have a new fantastic game to play. If for some reason you don't like it, you can always get a refund. If you have a console, ask a friend if you might be able to borrow it, because that might influence it, so that way you can try it out. But if you just up and bought it, I'm fairly confident that you would say, huh, this isn't a game I would normally play, but I like this. And if you like D&D as much as I like Baldur's Gate, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button so that way you never miss out on an episode of Unscripted. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that way you'll be notified whenever a new episode of Unscripted comes out. And with all that being said and done, I do want to thank you for watching Unscripted, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye!
I've got one of those brain things called. There, in the grass. You can kill it, can't you? Like you killed the other.